everyone, this is Suki and Sensei Briggs again for another lesson tonight. Today is March 31st, my mother's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom. I'm gonna wish her happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mama Ruth.
So, yeah, today is my mother's birthday. She turned 78 today. And because of this coronavirus and everybody just kind of, I wouldn't say quarantine, but stay at home order or whatever, if you will. She lives about 2.5 hours or so from us, so was not able to get up there and see her this weekend or tonight. Typically we go up either the day of her birthday or the weekend of her birthday and take her out to dinner and take her some flowers and stuff, but wasn't able to make that happen this year because of this stuff. But we'll catch up with her later, and if you watch this, Mom, we'll catch up with you later, and we'll make it worth it for being able to miss this day. But anyway, today is March 31st, Tuesday, and we're going to try and put another lesson on YouTube tonight. Before we go into that, I will say this. Seems like as we're progressing in this, we're getting more and more responses, or less and less responses, should I say, more and more people not responding, or less responses of people that's actually doing the work that's on here. And so we'll probably still put up some sort of training video because I want to give people something to work on and stuff like that. But at the same time, if you are working on it, we need to know that you're working on it, especially the members of the class. Shoot me a text. Shoot Sensei here a text. Let us know that you're doing this, or you're trying to do it, or somewhat, because we're spending a lot of time doing this. We kind of walk through things before we do it. We shuffle things around. She has worked all day long. She's got to go back to work after we get through making this video, so she took time out and her day to do this, and there's just a lot to go into it. If we make a 20-minute video, sometimes it takes 2 hours to make that 20-minute video from the time we actually start on it to the time we finish it, and then getting it uploaded. It's a whole different story on top of that, and it's just a lot of work in it if there's not that much interest that is going to go into this. But with that being said, hopefully within the next couple weeks, I'd like to do it I don't know if I can, but hopefully within the next couple weeks, I'd like to make contact with everybody that's in our class down here in Charlotte. Maybe either FaceTime you on the phone, is that what it's called?
FaceTime.
FaceTime on the phone, or link up with them on Zoom, on a laptop, just maybe set up a time when it's good for us to talk, and maybe just watch you go through some techniques and stuff like that, and try and do some virtual training one-on-one with everybody that's in class. That's what we'd like to do. Whether it's me, whether it's Sensei, or whether it's both of us, or something, just touch base with people in class and FaceTime everybody, and just, if you've got any questions about your upcoming belt tests that you're working on, or anything we've done on any of the videos, or just watch you go through some stuff, call out some stuff to you, whatever. If nothing else, just so we can see everybody's face again and work on things, I guess. And this may carry on. Well, most likely it's going to carry on at least to the end of April.
Exactly.
Sometime into the 1st of May. So we're not through it yet. We're going to get there. By the help of the good Lord, we'll get through this, and we'll get there. But we've got to be patient with it. And we've got to work together, especially as this karate class. I don't want everybody coming in after maybe a couple months of not having class, of where we're together coming in, and it's kind of like that you've just quit for 2 months, and you come in there, and now you're having to either start over. I wouldn't say start over from the beginning, but stuff isn't as fresh in your mind, and your body's not used to it, because you haven't been doing anything, because that's going to set you back, you know. And we want to keep everybody moving and everybody going, and so forth and so on. And we want to keep moving and keep going. That's why we do these videos for you, because you know, we're still here teaching and putting it on a video, and just trying to get you to follow along with us and stuff. So that's kind of where we're at on this one. Do you have anything you want to say before we get started a little bit? All right, you want to scoot over a little bit? We're going to do a few warm-up exercises here, and tonight we're going to go over footwork and what is footwork and why footwork is important. And I've been thinking all weekend, what am I going to do Tuesday night on the video? What should I do as a training thing Tuesday night for a video? And then it came to me yesterday during the day, I guess, or maybe Sunday night. I think I might want to do some footwork, you know, go over a footwork class. I was on Facebook today and saw one of my other friends. I'm not going to say who it was or anything like that, but he's been in martial arts for quite a while. I think he's a 9th dan. And he was teaching a class and putting it online for his students. Guess what they were doing? Footwork. So we're going to kind of do the same thing. And I know this is old news to somebody, but it helps. It helps when you're sparring, and that's what we're going to concentrate on tonight. Why footwork is important when you're sparring and stuff, and different types of footwork, and what is footwork, and so forth and so on. Because techniques without footwork is just arm and leg movements. The likelihood of you going to hit someone or kick someone without applying those techniques correctly, and if you apply them correctly, you're going to have to use footwork.
Exactly.
And the likelihood of you making contact with someone, whether it be some type of punch, hand technique, or foot technique, without footwork, slim to none. Probably not going to happen. So everybody does it. You just don't. If you're just starting out and you've never been in a class where we really concentrate on footwork or really got deep down in depth with footwork, you probably just didn't realize you were doing footwork. And of course, we're not going to have time to get deep in depth with footwork tonight. It's going to be just a real quick scan over, if you will, and just touch the surface, and just go from there. Do that. But before we do that, I think we're going to stretch out a little bit. I'm a little stiff. I've done the leg workout today and done some new exercises. The stiffness and soreness is already starting to set in a little bit, so we're going to stretch out a little bit. So if you want to follow along with me, we'll do it kind of like we do in class. I'll call them out, call the techniques out. We'll both do them, and I'll count, and you just repeat the count after me. We'll probably, I don't know how many we'll do, but let's do some neck rotations. Ready? Hajime. Ish. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Reverse. Ish. San. Shi. Go. And we're not doing a whole lot of these tonight. We're just doing a little bit because we've just kind of been warming up and stretching out for a little while this afternoon, maybe a half hour or so already, but I'm still a little stiff, so we're going to do a few more. Okay, so let's do wrist rotations. Ready? We'll go to the inside. Ready? Yeah. Hajime. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. And reverse. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. And get them out. We'll do elbow rotations. Coming in first. Ready? Hajime. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Reverse. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. And we'll do, let's do shoulder rotations forward. Ready? Hajime. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Reverse. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. And let's come across the chest with this. Ready? She.
She.
Go.
Go.
Yummy. All right. Let's do hip rotations. I don't know, I might go more than 5 on this one. Now we're getting down in the lower part of the body where I need to get some of this soreness worked out. Ready? We'll go, let's rotate. We'll rotate this way first. Ready? Hajime. Ich.
Ich.
Ni.
Ni.
San.
San.
Chi.
Chi.
Go.
Go.
Ruk.
Rook.
Sich.
Seek.
Hach.
Hot.
Ku.
Ku.
Ju.
Do.
Reverse. Ich.
Ich.
Ni.
Ni.
San.
San.
Chi.
Chi.
Go.
Go.
Rook.
Rook.
Sich.
Seek.
Hach.
Hot.
Ku.
Ku.
Ju. Yummy. All right. Let's do some knee rotations. Okay. Oh, this even hurts before it worked out. Ready? We'll go clockwise first. Ready? Hajime. Ich.
Ich.
Ni.
Ni.
San.
San.
Chi.
Chi.
Go.
Go.
Reverse. Ich.
Ich.
Ni.
Ni.
San.
San.
Chi.
Chi.
Go.
Go.
Come up on the right foot. This is what we do to loosen up the knee, the ankle, and get the toes loosened up down here. So when you're throwing kicks and hitting with your ball of your foot, you got these toe joints all loosened up. We'll go to the outside first. Ready? Hajime. Ich.
Ich.
Ni.
Ni.
San.
San.
Chi.
Chi.
Go.
Go.
Reverse. Ich.
Ich.
Ni.
Ni.
San.
San.
Chi.
Chi.
Go.
Go.
Yummy. Switch. Go to the outside first. Come this way. Hajime. Ich.
Ich.
Ni.
Ni.
San.
San.
Chi.
Chi.
Go.
Go.
Reverse. Ich.
Ich.
Ni.
Ni.
San.
San.
Chi.
Chi.
Go.
Go.
Yummy. All right. Oh. All right. Let's do a little bit of stretching to loosen up, to open the legs up. I tell you what, let's do the pulling your knee up and opening hips up. We'll do left side first in the left stance. Ready? Ich.
Ich.
Ni.
Ni.
San.
San.
Chi.
Chi.
Go.
Go.
Yummy. We'll do it with the right side. Ready? Ich.
Ich.
Ni.
Ni.
San.
San.
Chi.
Chi.
Go.
Go.
All right. Okay, let me see. Oh, let's get in a deep front stance here. Really, really deep front stance. I'm gonna hands on the waist and we'll twist to the outside. Ready? Hajime. Ich.
Ich.
Ni.
Ni.
San.
San.
Chi.
Chi.
Go.
Go.
Rook.
Rook.
Seat.
Seek.
Hutch.
Hot.
Ko.
Ku.
Chu.
Do.
Yummy. We'll switch it and do the same thing. Ready? And Hajime. Ich.
Ich.
Ni.
Ni.
San.
San.
Chi.
Chi.
Go.
Go.
Rook.
Rook.
Seat.
Seek.
Hutch.
Hot.
Ko.
Ku.
Chu. Yummy. All right. All right, let's get in the floor here. Drop our right knee to the floor and we'll scoot. Try to create some distance, leaving this knee on the floor. And we're going to lean forward into it and try and pull right in here as much as we can. You might even want to pull this foot back a little bit, but we're going to lean forward into it and pull. And count. Ich.
Ich.
Ni.
Ni.
San.
San.
Chi.
Chi.
Go.
Go.
All right, now push out on your knee. Open that hip up. Ich.
Ich.
Ni.
Ni.
San.
San.
Chi.
Chi.
Go.
Go.
Okay, let's switch. Lean forward and pull on this, the thigh on the leg that's on the floor. And count. Ich.
Ich.
Ni.
Ni.
San.
San.
Chi.
Chi.
Go.
Go.
Push out on that leg, at that knee. Ich.
Ich.
Ni.
Ni.
San.
San.
Chi.
Chi.
Go.
Go.
Yummy. All right. let's get down, and you want to spread your knees out behind you quite far. Go down on your forearms. Walk it back. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. All right, come up on your hands. Now we're just going to rock it back and forth. Ready. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Rook. Sit. Hach. Cool. Ju. All right. All these is to open up these hip flexors out a little bit. All right. Let's pull this leg in, extend the other one back, and try and get the body straight up as possible. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Rook. Sich. Hach. Cool. Ju. Yummy. Reverse that one. Push that leg way back there. Push up on the body. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Rook. Sich. Hach. Cool. Ju. All right. Okay. We're not going to do too many more. I don't want to take up too much time on this video doing that. Let's go straight into some footwork and talk about footwork. All right, so here's the deal with footwork. Footwork, probably the best way to describe footwork is this. Footwork will help you keep your balance. Footwork will either create distance and extending the space, the distance between you and your opponent, or close that space. It's kind of like spatial. You're controlling a space by using footwork, whether you're going in, coming back. Footwork is a means of getting in on your opponent. Footwork is a means of getting away from your opponent. Footwork is a means of, if your opponent comes at you, not only are you always coming back, but you may sidestep it using footwork. So footwork can be a whole lot of things. Like I said, if you just stand still, and whether you're throwing a punch, first of all, if you're standing this close, like right here is where I could probably hit you. Okay, but I wouldn't hit you hard because I'm barely touching you. But without leaning into this, which if I lean into it, then I'm putting myself in a very, very, very bad position, because you never want to lean into something. And you don't want to leave that head open for the whole world to reach out and touch it. So without leaning into it from right here, I can't, without using footwork and without leaning into it, I can't do anything to you. So everybody uses footwork, they're not that, sometimes they don't know it. Like beginners come into class and we get you sparring fairly quick after you get in class. Probably not your first night, maybe not your first or second night there, but within a couple of weeks, we'll have you fighting. And every belt that we have, you must spar for that belt. And we don't teach footwork right from the beginning. Sometimes we'll show the students, hey, when you throw that technique, do this and that. And in essence, we are teaching footwork. We're just not telling them that because we want them to get more of a basic type thing down, like their stances, some basic kicks, some basic punches, their basic kata, and so forth and so on. But after they start getting all the kihon or the basics down, then we start teaching footwork, and they're like, oh yeah, I've been doing that, or I know that. So, most people does it, and they just don't even realize it. Okay, so we're going to do a few things of footwork here. And like I said, there's different types of footwork. Footwork, let me have you stand over right there a little bit. Footwork can be, I think, was it last week we were teaching advanced shuffle?
Yes.
With Sensei Carr?
Yes.
So advanced shuffle, where we taught, come in like this, that's footwork. That's all advanced shuffle is a form of footwork. Whether you do it one time, like this, or whether you do it 2 times. You should never do it 3 times. If you have to do it more than 2 times, you're too far away from your opponent to be trying to get close to them and hit them anyway. Because their reaction time has got to be better than that. That if you skip 3 or 4 or 5 times or however many times across the floor, or not skip, but whatever you're doing to get to them, that they're already reacting and either going to kill you or wait for you or something by the time you get there. So whether you do it once or twice, taking that step like that, that's closing the distance. That's what we call, in this style, advanced shuffle. Now the same thing applies if I'm standing right here and I see you move toward me. If I do this to get out of the way, I'm using footwork to get out of the way. So both of us use footwork in this case. She used a step forward, not so much a shuffle, but she just used a step forward. And the way her body position was, it looked like she was stepping forward to punch me. But she used a step forward, and I used a quick shuffle to get out of the way. So I use footwork to expand that gap to keep from getting hit, and she used a form of footwork to try and close the gap. And the gap is nothing but the distance between 2 fighters. That's all a gap is. So she used footwork to try and close the gap in order to affect, I'm sure it was going to be this, the way your body language was. And reading body language is a whole different thing. It's not as hard as some people make it out to be. But if she'd have used a form, let me have you scoot back just a little bit. If she'd used a form of footwork to do either a side kick or a front kick, in this case, been good, I could still use footwork to get out of the way, do one of those. See, she used a form of footwork. She used a step to try and get in on that side kick. I used a form of footwork, which was a retreat shuffle to get out of the way. Now, she's going to do the same kick. I'm going to see her come at me with the same kick, and in this case, I'm going to use a side step. I'm not stepping into her. A lot of times you see that with fighters. You'll see one fighter move at the same time another fighter does, and they're both clashing. And when you clash, something's got to give. Usually it's going to end up being who's the best hand fighter at that point, because you're up in each other's face. But if I'm standing back here, and if I'm more of a defensive fighter, and I see her come at me with a kick, I can sidestep it by just stepping to the side and bringing this foot up, like so. And she's going to do it right here. Go ahead. Just like this. And now right here, she kicked. I'm in a position where I can either retaliate with a kick or with some kind of punch. I can counter strike. Same thing applies here. If you can use footwork to go to one side, you can use footwork to go to the other side. So we've covered moving forward, backward, side to side. Now let's cover the types of footwork. One type of footwork that we teach, let me have you stand back here, Sensei, face up this way. I'm going to get you to do just a basic side step, like what we teach students, where we teach them to step behind and then step out of it and kick. The side step behind, and cock the knee, bring the knee to the opposite shoulder and kick. Let me have you scoot back a little bit so the camera will make sure to catch that. Now, this is a basic type of footwork that we teach when we first teach the side step. When we first teach the side kick. Once you get this type of footwork down, then we bring it up a notch, because obviously the way she's going to do it is way too slow for you to hit someone in a sparring match, but it will help you develop your side kick, because what it does is align the hips up. She don't step in front, because when she does, her hip goes this way. Well, if her target's that way, her hip has no business going this way. So stepping in the front is completely wrong. Plus, it opens your body up too much to give your opponent a target. So we teach step behind. And then as you drag this foot out, you're bringing it up, cocking it like so, and then you throw your side kick out and pivot on your plant foot, which is what Sensei's going to do now. Show them kind of slow, not real quick, but just kind of somewhere between slow and medium speed. Just pop it out there about that fast. Just show them what it looks like. Right there. And that's what it was. And if you notice, she stepped behind. Do it again. Watch her step behind. She steps behind. She lines her hips up right here. She pulls this foot up. She cocks it. And she goes straight out with it. And then she brings it back. So that is a very, very, very basic type of footwork. You can do the same thing on a front kick. Do the same thing with a front kick. Only thing I want you to do is do a front kick with your front leg. So step, and then come up with your front leg and do it. Step in the front because it's going to line your body up. Go ahead.
Like this?
Mm-hmm. And the same thing applied there. She just done a very basic type footwork. Now, we go from those basic types of footwork to something a little more advanced. Now, once you get this, lining the hips up, we teach you more of a skip step. From here, skip. You're just changing place. If you can see my feet on camera, from right here, I'm going to put this foot where that one is and pull this foot up, ready to throw a side kick. Basically, is all it is. So from right here, it's just like this. And then you thrust your side kick out. Show them how that one's done there, Sensei. Go. Right there. So that's just a quick skip. And we call that a skip. A skip is a type of footwork. That's a skip. Now we also do a type of footwork that we do is a step slide. We do the step slide with footwork, and what that is like this, and we'll use the same thing, same kick, a side kick. So step slide is just step, slide up, cock this knee up, and bring it up toward this shoulder, and throw straight out with it. Show them how to do that. Step, slide, kick. There we go. And that's called our step slide. Now, you can practice this type of footwork good enough where if we're this far apart from each other, depending upon how long your legs is, but we're this far apart from each other, she's practiced this type of footwork on this specific kick enough where she could hit someone like me from right here, okay? So you're just step, slide, and it's just a real quick one. Step, slide, and pop them, okay? Now you say, okay, well, we're doing the same thing over and over and over with side kicks. Well, you can do the same thing with a front kick. You can do a step, slide, lead leg front kick and do it. You show them step, slide, lead leg front kick. Step, slide, lead leg front kick. There you go. Another type of footwork besides step, slide, some people call that a slide step too. You know, I guess this would be more of a slide step. Slide up and then do it, but we do the step, slide, and pop it. But you can do the same thing with a hand technique. Like you can be right here and you can still do this step, slide. You can go step, slide, bam. Oh, I'm sorry. Step, slide, and bam, and hit somebody. You all right? Mm-hmm. I got the edge of your glass. I meant to go off on the side of your head. Wasn't even watching you. Hit you on the side of the face there by mistake. But you can do the same thing with that. You can do a step, slide with a back fist. Step, slide, bam, with a back fist. You can do a ton of different things. So we have some of the easier ones that we teach is skip, just a step by itself, step behind, a step slide, a spin.
Yes.
You know, you can do spins, like a spinning back fist or a spinning side kick or spinning crescent kick. Show them some kind of spinning technique. It doesn't matter whether it's hands, feet, or whatever. And this is just where you're just, and spinning is a form of footwork. A lot of people don't think it is, but it is. Anything that will close this gap or this distance or separate, give you more separation between you and your opponent, or help you get out of your way your opponent is referred to as footwork. Well, let me have you get right here for a second. Face me, like you're going to hit me. So if we're this far apart and she does a spinning, let's say for instance she does a spinning side kick to get in on me from this far apart, she's still using footwork even though she's just going to be spinning. It's still footwork because she's closing this gap in between us in order to nail me with her technique. So show them toward the camera. Just want some kind of kick or punch, spin technique, whatever you want. Okay? Do another one.
Let's see.
Do a spinning back fist.
Okay.
Oh, I caught you halfway in.
You did.
Do a spinning back fist. Boom. And now, let me say something about a spinning back fist. Any type of footwork that you do, and before, well, remind me to go back to footwork as far as like jumping and stuff. But any type of footwork that you do, if it causes you to bring one foot off the ground, you've got to know you are extremely vulnerable. If you've got 1 foot on the ground and 1 foot off the ground, okay? You're like a one-legged man at that point, or a one-legged woman, okay? Your balance is not going to be as good. Your speed, like if you miss, is not going to be, first of all, you're going to have to retract that leg back to get that speed. So whatever you do, and I see a lot of people throw a spinning back fist, and I've seen them do it, and I've seen this more in sport karate, which there's nothing wrong with sport karate. I used to make a living doing sport karate overseas, more than any other place. In Florida, well, started some in North Carolina when I was a young kid, but we ain't gonna get into all that. But sport karate, I see it more than anything else. I'm not so much into sport karate now as I am as karate as a way of life. But I see a lot of this in sport karate, where they'll throw a spinning back fist and they'll lunge into it and just run. You know, it's like they're throwing their whole body into that. You know, from right here, they're just boom and run. I understand it from a sport karate point of view. To do that, if you're trying to score a point on, because you know if you score a point, they're going to say break, but what if you don't score a point? But what my biggest concern is this. If you do that like that a whole lot of times, what are you doing? You do stuff a lot of times. You're setting
Yourself up.
Yep, you're setting. What's the word I'm looking for? You're setting not a bad example, but you're setting a bad habit.
Yes,
You're setting a bad habit, because the last thing in this world that you would want to do, if God forbid, if you ever had to use this kind of stuff out on the street, is do some kind of spinning back. First of all, I wouldn't do a spinning back fist on somebody on the street to begin with. But if you did, the last thing you'd want to do is spin and do this, and and either stop like this or take another step or two, and this bad guy right here, because they are going